For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ezra Johnson, and I'm a constitutionalist. I'm someone who believes that the supreme law of the land is the United States Constitution, that it trumps all other laws out there. Anything that comes in conflict with the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Generally speaking, constitutionalists like myself come from conservative backgrounds. In fact, I used to call myself a conservative. However, because the definition of conservative kind of changed, and it didn't really go in line with what being a constitutionalist is, I changed my title to constitutionalist. In any case, recently I had someone talk to me and tell me that they're a little disappointed that those who are obviously conservative, which this person sees as a conservative, are falling prey to the liberal media. And he went into great detail about how this is a kind of a sad thing, and because of this, there's a good chance that Obama will get elected, and it'll be basically our fault for not supporting Mitt Romney because we subscribe to the liberal media. Now, there's an interesting point about this in which they're either misinformed or ignorant. And in fact, you can kind of see some bias in them. Now, let me explain what I mean. A thing about constitutionalists and also libertarians is that we don't subscribe to the mainstream media. In fact, we're rather critical of the mainstream media. Now, the mainstream media doesn't just cover the liberal media, it also covers conservative side of the media, or the supposed conservative side of the media. Of both sides, we are actually more distrustful of the liberal media. We don't trust it. On the same token, like I said, we don't really trust the other left and right media, which is called the mainstream media. This is like Fox, MSNBC, CNN, etc., ABC. This is the mainstream media that we do not trust. But for some reason, I think because they subscribe to the conservative media, parentheses, they think that since we don't support Mitt Romney, then we must obviously subscribe to the liberal media, that we're falling prey to the liberal media, that we trust what the liberal media is telling us. Let me reiterate, we do not trust the liberal media. In fact, we're very distrustful of the liberal media, almost more so than we are distrustful of the conservative side of it. Put them together, you have the mainstream media. Now here's where it gets interesting. Now here's what I mean. When you're a constitutionalist, we tend to have a greater conviction, a greater set of principles. This is not saying that other people don't have conviction or principles, but it has become obvious to me that people of this movement, of the liberty movement, who generally fall into constitutionalists and libertarians, are people of strong conviction. Now what I mean by that means that if we believe this, we believe A, B, C. And so what we do is we support candidates who, when it comes to politics, who fall in line with our beliefs. And it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. You know, there's a little bit of divide, there's a little bit of wiggle room, but generally speaking, we want people who support what we believe. And we look at what they believe. We don't believe what we're told that what they believe. See, the conservative media tells you that Mitt Romney is a conservative. We look at what Mitt Romney has stood for. We look at what he has supported, what he stood against. We look at how you can't really tell me what he believes. He's a flip-flopper. Okay? I don't say that to offend, but when a man has been on every side of every issue, it's a well-earned term. But because he's the conservative alternative, a lot of people think that we have to support him. That he is the man. It's interesting. They're not, for the most part, people aren't really supporting Mitt Romney. They're voting against Obama. But if you look at them by way of policy, they're almost identical. And a person of conviction, a person of principle, who says, this is what I believe, cannot vote for someone, cannot support someone who, for the majority of what they stand for, is in contradiction, is in direct opposition of what they believe. That's what a person of conviction, that's what constitutionalists, that's what libertarians believe. We are tired of voting for the lesser of two evils. A lot of people say, well then, you're throwing your vote away. Well, that sounds like kind of no offense, that's a stupid argument. Basically, if anyone's at to blame, it's the GOP. They chose the product that they want us to take. They chose, this is who we want you to support. The GOP basically are telling us this is the conservative option. Really? Who really supported Mitt Romney to begin with? There are a few, and I'll give you that, but I mean, It's like blaming me, like say McDonald's and Burger King, there's a fast food restaurant competition for who makes the best burger. And do you want, I don't like Burger King, I don't really like or McDonald's, so I go eat Jack in the Box. I put my vote in for Jack in the Box. And then the people at McDonald's come out all mad at me because Burger King won because I didn't support McDonald's. Because I couldn't swallow what they have. I don't like their product. And somehow it's my fault. Well, if McDonald's would have given me a product I like, maybe I would have supported them. Same thing with the GOP. The GOP, the person that they're putting forward, the product, I don't agree with. In civil liberties, Mitt Romney thinks it's okay to arrest, detain, indefinitely, without charge, without trial, United States citizens. And you know what? That's a more important issue to me than the economy. For I would rather live in a nation where the economy is doing poorly but I'm free than in a nation where we're having great economic success but there is no freedom. And let me tell you, there is no freedom. If there is no habeas corpus, if there's no civil liberties, if we do not have due process, if that can be taken away from us with just a stroke of a pen by the president, then we are not in a free nation. We do not have guaranteed rights. And this is something that Mitt Romney subscribes to. And this is not something off of what the liberal media told me. This is something out of his very mouth that I saw during the debates when he was asked directly about the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, if he believed it was appropriate for the government, for the president even, to take away these rights, which aren't even theirs to take away, but to take away these rights from American citizens. He said yes, it was appropriate. Now that alone, even take everything else aside, that alone is reason enough not to support the man. He does not support liberty. True, he might be better for the economy, and maybe if the economy is the number one issue for you, then you go right on ahead and you support him. But freedom is the number one issue for me. And the man stands in direct contradiction to what I believe. So no, I will not support him. See now, just to kind of further my point about how I'm more of a conservative, Reagan said this is not a left versus right issue. This is up or down. That's how Reagan talked about freedom. Do you really think Mitt Romney is going to raise us up when it comes to freedom, or is he going to take us down? And for me, with his support of such an atrocious act on freedom as the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, he's not lifting us up. He's taking us down. That is why I don't support him. And that is why neither should you. That is why you should look for a candidate who is really serious about freedom. Not someone who's willing to take it away because they want to keep you safe. That's my thoughts on the matter. Don't mean to offend anyone, but if you think it's because I subscribe to liberal media, you need to reevaluate why you think so. Because that is the farthest from the truth I can ever think of.